the reviews are in for Barbie. It's going to be another feminist bomb. I know it's not going to look like that with the opening weekend this weekend, which is going to be big, but wait for that second week drop. Are you misogynist if you don't see Barbie? Yes, challenge accepted. So click the links to join the channel here or over at the subscribe side. If you join the channel here, you can watch videos early and some videos that just never make it out into the public because they never get monetized because YouTube is asshole. Or if you want to see me review a film, no problem. Pay for the ticket and popcorn and I will see it and review it for you. So feminist Barbie lectures us on the patriarchy. Oh, how topical, how timely. That's exactly what people want. Please. Please lecture us. Please lecture us on something that people are falling away from. If anything, the pendulum is going in the other direction. This is the perfect time to tell men how much we hate them. Oh, okay. Good luck with that. So your audience is going to be like a Thelma and Louise, Notebook, Titanic, Fried Green Tomato. I'm trying to think of chick flicks that hit really big, and you look at this movie and go, yeah, this is not a romance. It's a comedy, but it's really preachy and heavy-handed. So yeah, the point is you don't have a male audience, but you're also, I don't think, going to get a huge female audience because it's not it doesn't have a romance, it doesn't have a drama. It's just a pure comedy, but it's lecturing. I think this movie is going to be in trouble, and I know the opening weekend is going to be huge. It's a female comedy, but it hates men, and it needs to beat about $400 million to profit. So let me say this is a movie that is going to get high critic and user reviews, but it's also not going to be a huge success because the audience for these kind of movies is going to be self-selecting. The audience has got to be 80% women and 20% BLT guys. They go in expecting it to be woke. It gives them exactly like the people go see Bros or something. It's like, yeah, Bros is probably going to get 90% reviews because the people who see it are all, BLT people seeing it, or I don't know what they call. I mean, I know what they call those chicks who hang out around them, and I almost let that slip. The thing is, people who go see this movies, they give it good reviews, so it's going to have a huge weekend. So the video I did a few days ago, and I cheekily said that Barbie is going to have a big opening and no legs because I'm emotionally 12 years old, but that is going to be an accurate statement. The marketing on this film was absolutely amazing, but it's not enough to save it because word of mouth on social media is going to destroy this thing. This is going to be worse than Ghostbusters 2016, which don't hate me for saying this. I didn't actually think that movie was that horrible, and I know when I say that people are shocked. I mean, it was a bad movie, but it was close to not being horrible. It was like you just could have shifted the movie just a little bit, and it would have been I don't think it would have been a successful movie, but it would have been palatable, where it was like every line delivery, every joke was just a little out of key, just a little out of tune. All you had to do was just hit the tuning fork a little bit. It's like you just couldn't quite get there. Anyway, so this is worse than Ghostbusters because at least they didn't hate men. There was that Chris Helmsworth, the guy was in it, and he was the secretary scene, and he was the butt of the joke. But the thing is, it was so stupid that it wasn't funny, it wasn't offensive. It was just so dumb that it was a self-owned for whoever wrote those scenes. That's how dumb it was. And, people like him kind of almost no matter what. They didn't see Ghostbusters 2016. They didn't see Men in Black, which had some chick, and I think he was co-starring, so I think that bombed also. Anyway, so what's going on with this film is brilliantly deceptive advertising. And I thought that way when I saw the previews because they didn't say anything about the movie in the previews. You can go watch them on YouTube. They're very careful previews. They presented it as a lightweight comedy, though. I don't think there wasn't too much that was really funny in it. There's, just like two scenes, her with him in the car. It's like, all right, that was cute. You saw the interaction, but those previews were very clever. And the thing is, it's not a kids movie because they had a scene with the characters alluding to a group activity between adults, and it's rated PG-13. But the previews didn't include anything about how toxically anti-male the film would be. The funny thing is, Amy Schumer was slated to do this like 5 or 10 years ago or something. And if she did it, it wouldn't be as heavy-handed and preachy because she's always been not as easy on the eyes as Margot Robbie. So her humor couldn't be too abrasive. But Margot Robbie's actually woman-shaped, and she's not just a sphere, so she can get away with pushing feminist cancer because people will be a little bit distracted by her. But here's the big except. Her stuff is not doing as well as it should, especially for Warner Brothers. Birds of Prey, the budget was $82 million. It grossed $200 million globally and lost money. Suicide Squad Part 2 did even worse because the budget was $190 million and grossed $170 million. So people say they like her, but she was in 2 films that lost a lot of money for Warner Brothers, and this is probably going to be the 3rd. Though I don't know to what order it's going to lose, like how much it's going to lose, but I think it will lose. The thing is, I think women like the idea of Margot Robbie more than they like paying to see the movies. She's attractive, but more maybe in like a fitness girl role because she's not thin enough to be a model and she's not buxom or curvy enough to be sexy. She's just kind of the soccer mom next door who stays away from carbs and jogs. And now she's old enough to not be threatening to women, so that they like this movie where if someone who was more curvy, like the original doll was in this movie, that it's appealing to the male gaze because of boobs and butt, and it's like so Margot Robbie doesn't appeal to the male gaze as much, even though she has a pretty face. And this movie is going to be a squeaker if it only costs $150 million. Because 2.5 to 3 times production budget is $375 to $450 million. That's a lot of money. I don't see it getting that. And I know the opening weekend is going to be absolutely huge. But as the reviews come out and people talk about how woke it is and how that wasn't represented in the previews, shockingly enough, yes, because they're trying to get your $15, and even chicks don't want to see something there's a very small audience that wants to see something that's a feminist lecture. That doesn't make sense. And they keep making these movies, and this is more heavy-handed than the Terminator movie and the Charlie's Angels movies and all the other kind of crap that came out before. Like, this is actual lectures in the movie, or like little asides. Like, nobody wants to hear that kind of stuff. Anyway, so I think the second week drop is going to be nuts. Chicks, yes, they're going to go see it tonight, and it's going to hit 100 million as predicted, or whatever the opening weekend is predicted to be. But then that's it, and it's just going to drop. So Greta Gerwig says she made the movie to make people think critically about Barbie's role in feminist history. Like, are you insane? And they mentioned the patriarchy more than once. It's a dozen times in the movies because, like I said, the movies are not about making money. If it was, they'd make a retro 80s, 90s comedy style thing. And you're not gonna see those kind of movies in Hollywood ever again. I don't think that's ever gonna happen. And that's not an exaggeration. Stop and think of all the comedies you've seen over the years. Almost all of them have something in them that couldn't be done today. But those little bits of spicy political incorrectness add to the enjoyment of the movie. It's the marinade with garlic and peppers, olive oil, basil, and all the other ingredients. But some whining globalist writer talks about how offensive it is to portray garlic in a humorous manner because of the marginalization and oppression and all the other Frankfurt School, Saul Alinsky type of bullshit buzzwords they use. So they start cutting out ingredients from the marinade so it's not offensive to the representatives of those ingredients who, press F to doubt if they're really offended or if they're just terminally online for social media dopamine. But eventually, the one thing left is, what you see in movies and comics and shows all the effing time is, well, you can make fun of men. That's safe, as long as they're not pox men. So you go, wait a minute. You've narrowed it down to where the only people that you can make fun of as the antagonist at all, you're talking about like green or blue-eyed men, preferably blonde or red-haired men. Like, that's how narrow the window is now, because every other group is a protected class to the left, and they go, yeah, that's it. But there's no surprise. There's no willing suspension of disbelief if every time you see characters, you can tell who the good guy is and the bad guy is by eye color and hair color. That's how blatant it is. Anyway, so that starts to be the only thing that's allowed in every movie, comic, or streaming show, which is very boring when I can judge a movie or a comic or a book by the cover, simply by the hair color. And it's like the correlation is 95%. That's what Hollywood is these days. It's just a tool to push propaganda. And profit is very much a secondary consideration. How many times? Okay, so the hypocrisy is that these people, these wealthy, people who visit islands, or cheer for Weinstein for 30 years, they lecture you on the patriarchy from their gated communities or their vacation homes in Colorado, or their second vacation homes that they fly a private jet to, or you get the idea of what I'm kind of saying. It's they're so deep in an echo chamber, they don't know how outsiders perceive them, that she would make a movie like this that I promise you is going to lose money, where there's been a string of a half a dozen to a dozen movies like this that have lost money. And not only she went ahead with it because she had to have somebody okay it, but somebody okayed it. Some Warner Brothers okayed it, even though they had Birds of Prey and an SS Squad Part 2. And, the Terminator, all those other movies that came out that are like chick-led films. Like, yeah, but those lost money, and you're just doing the same thing over again. Yeah, at some point, even if you're not really paying attention to this stuff, you got to know that, oh, hey, this isn't about money, is it? No, it's really not. Anyway, so the movie could have been fun instead of just, blonde man bad and the patriarchy bad. People just want, and it's 2 hours too, people just want that, comedic escape. Instead, they're getting lectures on how evil men are. So, well, most people don't hate men. It's just this weird little feminist inner circle. So the other, and when the movie loses money next weekend, then they'll get on social media and they'll be attacking the audience for seeing it. It's like, clearly the movie is not for men at all. But somehow they'll say, oh, well, men didn't see it because they're istophobic or something. You go, but the movie, I mean, it's a movie about a toy doll from the 50s. It's a girl's doll. Why would men see it? Oh, we don't know, but we can't blame women for seeing it. Yeah, but every time these chick flicks fail, they try to get out there and blame men for something. Oh, anyway, the other argument is they think the copium for these people on Twitter is that, oh, the movie will help sell toys for Christmas. I don't see that's possible because it's a PG-13 movie. It's not for kids, and then it's very much not for kids in the age range who want toys. So even when it comes to streaming and Blu-rays or whatever, it's like you're not going to let your kid watch this, and they wouldn't want to watch it. It wouldn't make sense to them. It's for the college feminist girl or the woman who has a lot of nostalgia for the character. But nostalgia only works when the character is in accord with the original story that got them on board in the first place. That's why, like, Willow or Rings of Power or Witcher didn't do well, especially Witcher. Oh my God. Because they're too different from the originals. Like, people like the originals, so they make a movie and they go, oh, we're going to give you the not original. But that's, like, why don't you just make something new? It's bait and switch. You're just using the name recognition. And yes, they know that. They do that because they do that because they want to push this insane left-wing, anti-white, misandrist type of bizarro propaganda. And they can't just create anything new because, they can't create. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, join the channel here over at the subscribe star, and I'll see you guys all next episode.